They are placed second in the Portuguese top flight. FC Porto have scored 16 and conceded only 3 goals in their league this season, just to fall short by a few points behind the log leaders, that is Sporting Lisbon. That is the team we shall be facing later on tonight in the Europa League as Man United look to return to winning ways after a terrible spell that has seen us go into a place we'd never expected to be at this point in the season. Again, talking about the sacking or not of the manager Eric Ten Hag. But what's going on in camp? Is the mood better? I'm here to give it to you because the team is already in Portugal to take on that Herculean task of this team coached by Vitor Bruno. Welcome to the Nahel Sport. My name is Webb, and it's time to get right into it. As Man United, again, we always keep going. We are Man United. We always keep going. We never say never. We never give up. That's who we are now. Man United taking on FC Porto tonight. Remember, we failed to win the last game in this new format of the Europa League against FC20. So certainly this will be another pressure game for Eric Ten Hag because it's Europe. That's a bigger stage, first of all, but also it's a bigger opponent away in a more difficult ground, I must say. Now, the team we are facing in FC Porto, like I said, have scored 16 goals and conceded 3 goals in their league. They are lying second on the pile with 18 points, just 3 shy of the table leader Sporting Lisbon. They have won 6 games out of 7, lost only once, no draw. They are not so high scoring, I should say. They score, but they are not so easy to penetrate. They have conceded the second least goals in their league. That's behind Sporting Lisbon. And we all know that Portuguese clubs do score goals. In Portugal, goals are a thing. Clubs do score goals. So if you can be solid to concede only 3 goals in 7 games, it means you're quite solid. And remember, one of our biggest weaknesses as United has been being blunt. We've been a bit blunt. Now, in terms of personnel, of course, they have got their captain, Diogo Costa, who was linked with Man United. I remember that summer we brought Andre Onana. I don't think I spoke about a player I think who are linked with more than Diogo Costa. I think he was top on my lips. I think he's the one I actually wanted to come in to replace David De Gea. I preferred him to the rest we had at the time, but he is the captain now of Sporting Lisbon. Of course, has rather of FC Porto. Of course, he has a point to prove in between the sticks because he also wanted to join Man United. It's only the fees or the figures that were a bit away out of our reach. Then the other key player, of course, they have got is the loanee from Arsenal, that's Fabio Vieira. Then as well, Samu Omorodio, who was bound to join Chelsea only for things to change, and he switched from Atletico to go all the way to Portugal. So they've got a few names in there, but you see, with this Man United, you don't need to have names to be able to give us the headache that we never expect. So it certainly is going to be a tough game in every right. It's going to be one that I think we'll need all our players with utmost concentration. If we lose this, I'll tell you, Eric Ten Hag will be closer to his exit door than he will be to the entry to his office. So I think it's going to be a high pressure game for Man United. How then do we deal with it? First of all, bring in some fresh legs. That's the one thing you need to do. Bring in fresh legs. And I was seeing people asking me, Eriksen can't play football. His best is behind him. Obviously, his best is behind him. But right now, he's a little bit of form. He's a classy player. And the fact is, the Bruno, who plays ahead of him, is not fit. So playing Eriksen is more of a thing of resting Bruno, which he needs. Resting Kobe, play Casemiro, and maybe Ugarte in the middle. The experience of Casemiro is quite important. Ugarte too has played in Europe for quite some time at a bigger stage than this in the Champions League. So that's again very important. Ugarte too played in Portugal as well. That is at Sporting before he joined Paris Saint-Germain. So I think we've got players in there who can come out and give us something to match what we should expect from FC Porto. So my feeling is this is a game that Eric Ten Hag has got to do. The basics, do his research right, make his research. I remember when Arsenal was going to play against which team recently? They were going to play against Atalanta, I think. Yeah. Mikel Arteta admitted that he had to speak to Ricardo Calafiori to get an idea of how these Italian teams play, and you need to make use of of your players to give you as much information as they can against your opponent in terms of understanding how they play, because football today is highly technical. So if you just come out there and be full of yourself and just come with one, your one style, people will expose you and beat you. So I expect Eric Ten Hag to have, had a conversation with Manuel Ugarte and any players who have an idea, Bruno himself, about Portuguese football, and be able to craft a solution or an antidote. Because I'll tell you, we can't afford to fail to win, not even just to lose, but to fail to win against FC Porto. Bruno, by the way, has got an interesting start as we head into this game. Bruno, since 2020-2021 season, when he joined Man United, he has created the most chances, 72 more chances than anyone else in European football. He has created the most chances in European football. That's Bruno for you. Now, of course, these are the stats that make people confused. Now, the fact that he has created the most chances does not mean that he's not human, that he can't rest, that he's immortal. We advocating for Bruno's rest is not about us saying he's a bad player and he should be. We're not saying he should be uh, eradicated from the club. We are saying he needs to rest so that he can come back fresh and and play his best game. Because without rest, we cannot see the best of Bruno. Anyone cannot perform if they are tired. So the thing is, and I was seeing someone drop a comment, I think in one of our videos, I forget the name, and he was calling me out for saying Bruno needs to rest, as if I had said Bruno needs to be sold or needs to be benched. No, it's resting. A player has got to rest. Any sane person knows that when you work so hard, you need some bit of rest at some point. Bruno needs it. Kobe Maino needs it. So Eric Ten Hag has got to see that. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we are going to burn out our players. We are going to burn out our best players. And I mean, if you're not rested, your mind is blocked. You cannot be creative. So you won't create the so many chances that he's been known for creating in the English Premier League. So for me, that that for me is important. Of course, Vitor Bruno has spoken ahead of the game, talking about Bruno, saying the way he was sent off in the last match versus Tottenham wasn't reasonable at all. That's according to the coach of FC Porto, who was saying he doesn't know Eric Ten Hag, he hasn't met him, but he would love to. And if you lose one match, you're almost dead. In Portugal, if you lose one match, you're almost dead. That's according to Vitor Bruno. Of course, the Portuguese and their football. But the team looks to be in a good mood. I'm seeing, of course, Casemiro and quite a number of players. In terms of team news, Mount is injured, but Eric Ten Hag also gave an update on Tyrell Malacia and Luke Shaw, saying they could most likely be back after the international break. How soon after that, not sure, but his expectation is, especially Luke Shaw, he could be back a bit earlier than Tyrell Malacia, who is training slowly with the team. Of course, not yet back to full training because his injury has been longer. So it's more of a reintroduction. He's being reintroduced back into the first team, setup, because it's been way too long of him without him involved in a bit of action with the team. So it's a bit of a busy time, but that's the players right there, and you can see the smiles are back, and you'll have to see players play with a smile. I was listening to Emmanuel Petit, and he was saying that Mikel Arteta or Pep Guardiola would also not rejuvenate this Man United. They were saying that United has got quite a bunch of mediocre players in the squad, that we've got so many mediocre players in there that even the best managers available now could not do much in terms of resuscitating us. Now, that was a bad comment to say, or perhaps the truth. But for me, my feeling is we don't have so many bad players in terms of skill and talent. I think we've got the wrong mentality around the club. I think, and I've seen this before, and even in our other workplaces, if you've worked somewhere where the levels are quite high, there are places you can go to and actually see that the problem of the people is not really them not being able to do certain things. It's just their standards in terms of mentality. So I think that's what he was trying to say. I think the mentality of our players is a huge problem. Of course, take nothing away from the manager and his a lack of passion, because that passion is what perhaps could help the players get their mentality back on top. But I love these images. I think I quite love them. I think the body language shows players who I think getting back their belief and confidence and joy in playing football. We're only hoping that they can translate that into a performance against FC Porto. I won't predict this game again. I think it will be a tough game for Man United, not one that we can't win, but with this Man United, you can never know what to expect. All I want to expect and see is Bruno resting, Kobe resting, Casemiro Ugarte, and probably Eriksen in the middle. Or if he can't rest both Bruno and Kobe, let Bruno rest, let Kobe play 10, have Casemiro and Ugarte behind him. Or Lisandro Martinez in the middle with Ugarte and find a 10, but not Bruno. That's all the things I can try to expect in the game if I want to see something exciting and different. Let's hope for the best later on tonight. I will be back with the match reaction. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will be catching you later.